Mosmos. What does mosmos mean?
Pole.
Pole. Kidogo, kidogo. You carefully. If a market demands you go mosmos, please go mosmos. Slowly. But if a market has opportunity for you to go en masse, go and do it that way. Everything you do must be done with speed. Speed and the quality. Not just speed for the sake of speed. Right. Cost leadership means being the lowest cost producer in the industry. And you compete on the basis of price, sell for less, still make profit. For example, Hyundai cars, you can do that. Odd prices to that of rivals and make profits as costs are lower. You can still sell the same at the same price with your rival, but if your costs are lower, you make a better kill. You decide whether this is what you want to use. How do you want to compete in the foreign market? Strong brands go with their names, of course. They are already market leaders, so you may need to go with your strong brands and price it strongly because it has a name. Zambians, Ugandans, people in the region buy from Kenya. They buy from Nairobi, they buy from Uchumi. When they are passing by, they collect a lot of stuff from Uchumi. I don't know that you have noticed that. Zambians, Zimbabweans, and a few other people from surrounding countries buy a lot from Kenya. In fact, when they have stopovers, they go loaded. Ugandans do the same. Tanzanians. There's something about the brand Uchumi and Nakumatt sell. This is something strong for you to exploit. Give me Kenyan examples, please, of strong brands that can be taken out there in the region the way they are in Kenya without localization and they still succeed. You know some of them. What are they? Tusk, of course. Another one. I like that. Give a hug for me. She has done very well. Another one. Yes, ma'am. Another one. Very strong Kenyan brand that you can take it out there and it works.
Kenya Breweries work.
Kenya Breweries is a branch now, as a company. Of course it will work. KCB is KCB brand. The bank, South Sudan, Rwanda, everywhere. Nakumatt, Equity Bank, those ones don't need to change anything. Equity has gone as Equity to Rwanda. It has gone as Equity to Uganda because the brand is already well known. What about Uchumi? We need to discover, we need to investigate and find out in Zambia, for example, whether Uchumi brand is accepted by majority of people who travel there. Then that means you can take Uchumi as Uchumi, call it Uchumi Zambia, and I believe that's the way to go because Uchumi is a very strong brand. So we need to investigate. Other examples from Kenya, please think about them, and I believe things will be good. Differentiation, we say, you create uniqueness in the mind of the consumer. For example, the way other motorcycles have done, body shop products, Mercedes cars, you create that difference in the mind. And this is a strategy of making yourself unique as a company in the mind of the consumer. How do you do this? You need to ask this question and others. How do you do this? And there's a joke I give about the questions you ask about this. I call it the 5 wives and 1 husband. With all due respect, what are the 5 wives? The W's. What? Where? Which? Who? Why? And then how? With all due respect to women, I just use it like that, but it's not unusual. There's a woman who had very many wives, husbands. Those who have read the Bible know about John chapter 4 verse 29. Come see a man who has told me all the things I ever did. That was the Samaritan woman, and Jesus told her, you have had very many husbands. It's not unusual. This is actually from the Bible. Europe, I taught in Europe, things are different, straightforward. You want something, get it. Africa needs to move from this business of controlling information.
Robert?
Yes, sir.
I think the bribing is all over the world.
It's all over the world. Marty, I'm not going to challenge you on that. Bribery is a problem all over the world, but I think ours is pushed too far sometimes. I don't know your opinion. Yes, sir.
There's something else that they call a streetwise list. country,
Yes.
which is also not written anywhere.
It's not written.
Yes.
Yes.
But, it makes the money. It gives you business.
What is this?
It is a very unique way of doing things.
Yes.
People who have been brought up in Eastlands,
Yes.
they go far than people who have been brought up in Mumbai,
Yeah.
because they evolved through a lot of challenges.
It is called the school of hard knocks.
Yes,
They have gone through the school of hard knocks.
Exactly.
And I've seen very successful CEOs from Mathare.
Yes.
And I agree. Now that is not written down, but you can, when you are recruiting people for your next job, look at where people grew up. If they are from Eastlands or Kawangware and they are successful, those are the people to have, compared to others who come from places where they grew up being fed on a silver spoon. Actually, you're right. That's not written down. Can I tell you another one that is now me? You can challenge me. The power of people called gatekeepers.
That's true.
Those people control information for the CEO and everybody else. If you don't go through that, you cannot succeed in this country. I'll tell you a story, and I can tell you this story because it's true. I used to train people on how to create competitive advantage, and one guy said, I am going, he works for insurance, I'm going to sell my insurance to Honorable Biwot. It's many years back. And I asked him, how can you do this? So remember, we are talking about competitive advantage. He said, I'm going to create a competitive advantage, and I'm going to go with a strategy, and I will sell insurance to Honorable Biwot. This is a real story. I wish the guy was around for him to just come and say his story. So he said, I'll go the unique way. I will differentiate myself from anybody who has ever sold insurance to this man. I asked him how. He said, wait a moment, it's my secret. He went, found a secretary who would never let you see the word. Personal assistant. He looked at her and she said, who are you? And the guy looked young, and I mean, the word couldn't deal with young people who have no money. So the guy looked at the lady, saw how she was dressed, the material that was on her, you know, that she had for the dress, and decided, I'm going to spend as much money as I can because I'm committed to selling insurance to the world. So he bought, well, this is the truth. He went and bought, and he profiled her, I could tell her size and everything. He went and bought very expensive underwears and petticoats, and very expensive, extremely expensive. Differentiation is very expensive. Next time he came, he said, Mom, last time I wanted to see Mheshimiwa, you didn't allow me, but it's okay. And by the way, I like your taste. I like the way you are dressed. And you know, ladies, when you tell you that, you freeze. So he said, and by the way, today I don't want to see him. You have these gifts. They are from me. I'm a salesperson. I believe in myself. I'll come next time to see you. Please, you have this. Then quickly opened in case it's a bomb. She was amazed. He tells me she opened her eyes and she could see the pupils dilating. She said, there was something there. I said, Mom, enjoy yourself. I'm going. The lady said, no, wait a moment. Mheshimiwa will see. Gatekeepers are powerful. Identify who they are. And he went and told his story to be what? And the sword, I taught them techniques of marketing. I'm a chartered marketer, by the way. And the guy just smiled. From the story this boy tells me, he's younger than me, so I can call him a boy. And the guy was smiling. Smiled. At the end of it, he told this young man, I don't need your insurance. So he said, and by the way, today I don't want to see him. You have these gifts. They are from me. I'm a salesperson. I believe in myself. I'll come next time to see you. Please, you have this. Then quickly opened in case it's a bomb. She was amazed. He tells me she opened her eyes and she could see the pupils dilating. She said, there was something there. I said, Mom, enjoy yourself. I'm going. The lady said, no, wait a moment. Mheshimiwa will see. Gatekeepers are powerful. Identify who they are. And he went and told his story to be what? And the sword, I taught them techniques of marketing. I'm a chartered marketer, by the way. And the guy just smiled. From the story this boy tells me, he's younger than me, so I can call him a boy. And the guy was smiling. Smile. At the end of it, he told this young man, I don't need your insurance because I'm okay. But tell me, how much money would you make if I bought this? Let's be hypothetical. The young man said a figure, he regrets even today why he didn't say no. He told him, sir, I just want to make 3 million from you. The guy smiled, rose up, went to the cabinet, 3 million, told him, I don't need your insurance, but you are a very good salesperson. Here you are, good luck. That lifted this guy. We are talking of 90s. This made this guy a millionaire instantly. When you want to differentiate yourself, remember, it's expensive. But the dividends are very high. You need to remember that. Focus is where you go to a niche of a market and sell in a given niche, not everywhere. But you must really have a good idea of the structure, conduct, and performance of the industry where you are. How is competition, for example? Because that is what structure is all about. How do they perform? Should I go to the entire country or get a small section of the country and sell from there? For example, starting with the main cities, the capital city, one region of a country, and so on and so forth. Niche strategy is going to a particular area because you can't cover the entire country, either because you have no resources, or because you are careful with your resources, or because you are going to use this one to launch an attack in the entire market. Kenyan examples. Do you have Kenyan examples? Companies that have begun to do their work in Nairobi, then eventually they moved out until they were able to cover the entire country. Some examples. And the big question here is, what really determines the use of that strategy? Some Kenyan examples. How did the equity start? Did they start everywhere in the country, or they started in Nairobi and they went out? Yeah. Those are examples.
Good one. Prof, I think it's Pepsi.
Pepsi.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Pepsi was here. It was hit hard by the big brothers,
Yeah.
and they just died to tease and laid low because they are very strong in Tanzania.
Yes, they are.
The other day, they just sneaked into Kenya through Mombasa. Because there was a challenge of Coke providing their drink on the go. You have to buy with this bottle, hard
Yes.
bottle, the breakable one. And Pepsi came in with the PET, the plastic thing where you take and go. And Pepsi has been.
That is a very good example. And they came through Mombasa. They decided we are going to do Mombasa because in Dar es Salaam, that is very strong, and they see Mombasa as an extension of that coastline, and a lot of people from Dar es Salaam come to Mombasa. They decided to do it that way. That was determined by the market conditions, because there was a lot of competition, and for some reason they must have seen that Mombasa was easy to go, because people there are open to sodas from the Arab world, from Kenya, from East African region. It's not a guesswork of some sort. So you need to do serious analysis to use niche. That's a good thing.
In Tanzania,
Yes.
they actually created that difference where they came in, where Coca-Cola exactly that had the glass bottles,
Yes.
and they came in with the plastic bottles.
Yes.
And immediately it became a success because they came into the market and offered something that none of the other soft drink industry offered.
Yeah.
And that grew them instantly.
That gave them, you see, these are the little things we need to pay attention to. I was in Dar the other day, and I still found that you still sell your Cokes in the big, long bottles, because the market there can't go for these little things. In fact, someone told me this. It is a market reality. Evaluating cost leadership, you need skills, you need resources, and I told you, you need sustained capital investment, you need to spend money, you need process engineering skills, labor issues, and a low-cost distribution system. Those are the opportunities for cost leadership. You just need to note them as they are. Don't go with others because others won't work. And then, in the interest of time, I'll go quickly, but your organization needs to exercise tight cost control. Control reports are going to be necessary. Cost control reports, you need continuous improvement and benchmarking. You need an organization structure that has built incentives into the project and make sure that you are giving incentives to the right people. Otherwise you'll be wasting money. Determine who matters. At one time we went to Zimbabwe at some point, and even today is the same thing. Unless you really have someone connected with a big person, you are wasting time. You have to have somebody who has the eye of the big person. That way you can be listened to in the market. Find out what's happening in Zambia. A lot of people are going to Zambia to invest there because it's opening up better than a lot of countries in the region. Of course, we know why. Chinese have gone there. Copper prices, they have gained a lot from copper. And their currency is becoming stronger than Kenya. And so it is the best market to go now because they're even opening up. But contrasted to that is Ethiopia. Ethiopia is another attractive market, but you cannot take your currency out easily. So there are issues here. Try to understand. And these are the things you use in terms of cost leadership. We go to the advantages of cost leadership. Of course, it has low cost advantages, pricing issues come in, and I'll just put them there for you to see because of time. Low cost as advantages that will push out rivals away from the market. New entrants do not have low per unit cost if you are already the first one there. And they have to build low cost over time per unit cost. So you need to be aware of these advantages. If you already have a competitor there who has been there longer than you, they have this which you don't have. You have to look for other ways of really beating them. So you need to think about that. Now, on top of that, we have risks of low cost. Many of the cost saving activities you might go in there with can be copied easily. They are open for everybody to copy, so be aware of that. Exclusive cost leadership can become a real trap because you stop thinking. You are there with the lowest cost and you believe it will be this way forever and ever, which is not true. And you just get trapped into that thinking. You need to be innovative as you apply this leadership cost, low cost. And if you become obsessed with cutting costs, you will have a problem of shrinking your competitive advantage. There's a limit beyond which you can go. So you need to be aware of that. Then you need to know that these cost savings you do decline over time. They will never be there forever. So you need to be on the lookout.